Can you hear us? Hi, if you can't hear us, can you please raise your hands? I'm looking.
Yes, I can hear you.
Great, excellent. It's 2:30. Happy Wednesday to all of you. Thanks for joining us. We're going to start promptly at 2:30, which is now. My name is Sajid. I would like to do the introduction of the team around me. So I'm going to start with the rightmost, Kelvin. Kelvin, can you do a wave? Yeah, that's Kelvin. Kelvin looks after corporate recovery in the firm. Benjamin, good-looking guy. Benjamin looks after taxation. And then we have Doris. Doris looks after accounting outsourcing. And we've got Paul, who has volunteered to answer all the questions that are difficult today on business advisory.
No, firstly, I'm quite jealous that she didn't also say that I'm the good-looking guy. So,
all right. So Paul is next to me, and he looks after business advisory and everything else under the sky. So welcome on board. Let me just set the scene by asking all of you to mute your sets if you're not speaking, because otherwise we will hear the toilet flush very soon and things that we don't want to hear. So some of you, we can see your mics are on. You may want to just mute your mics as well as is there anything we could do on their end to mute them? Okay, I think you're good. Thanks. Some of you are already starting to flash some questions to us. That's excellent. All right. Okay. Let me start by setting the scene. Can we do a screen share of what we were having? Right.
yes.
All right. I'd just like to take 30 seconds to share with you the Singapore budget that was announced on 26th. The Singapore Resilience Budget that was announced on the 26th of March. This was one day after our very first session on Zoom. So this being our second and final session, we get the opportunity to focus our attention on the resilience budget. Why? Because that was a landmark package. It was $48 billion. Together with the first tranche, which was about 7, it adds up to $55 billion budget this year. And that represents about 11% of our GDP, a large amount. So what we wanted to do was have that discussion with you. This is not going to be a one-way. We're going to hear your voices as well. But to share with you the budget, if you want to break the budget into, or you want to simplify the budget is really about 3 things. It is in the areas of providing cash flows. It is about managing costs and enabling cash. So those are the 3 areas. And it was really to help businesses overcome the immediate challenges in these 3 areas: cost, cash, and credit. So now you get a chance to see that. We go on to the question and answers. If you could ask any question, we'd like to hear your voice, and if you could launch your videos, that would be even better, so we get to see you as well.
Back to the video.
We can take in any questions now. It's always difficult. The first question is always the hardest one.
Okay, then maybe I'll start off a little bit of what we are here for, besides to give you as much information as you would like us to give. We think that what we're trying to roll out, which we term it or we title it as FORET for short, but it stands for Financial Operation Resilience, and we also want to tag on to the resilience package or terminology. So it's again Financial Operations Resilience for Enterprise Program. What we're trying to do here again, for everybody who are not familiar with what we're trying to do, is sincerely we really think we want to help our clients, you participants, to come and have a health check. It's very similar to an individual who wants to know where they are, how healthy they are, how not healthy they are, and more importantly, which is what we want to emphasize, and that is we want to be a bit more forward-looking in our report, and that is after knowing where you are, where your strengths and weaknesses are, where you stand in your cash flows, what you should do. Should you really go to the banks and again, the Singapore Resilience Budget package actually have got a bit on easing of credit controls, available credits, as in the Singapore government has actually take on board a higher risk in terms of 80%, up to 80%, and therefore the banks should, in all probabilities, be actually be more willing to give out loans and credits. Where you stand, and therefore what measures you should take. This is what we are here to help you, right? So if you've got any questions whatsoever, let us know. If you'd like to know a little bit more about what you read in newspapers the last few days, we have got 5 of us here. We can actually offer, well, we wouldn't say we have all the answers, but surely we'll be able to offer you some comments as well. So, yep.
All right, we're waiting for the first question.
Now, maybe then I'll go to the okay, we do. I wanted to go to the
Maybe I can read out the question. Would you know if PSG is strictly for SMEs only? Can non-SME companies also apply for PSG for one of the pre-selected solutions?
Insofar as I know, okay, I'll have to stand corrected on this, okay? But it's easily, if you write to us, email, and if you don't want to do your own research, we would certainly be able to give you a very definitive answer. But again, insofar as I know, I think it applies to SME, and therefore the definition for SME would apply. It is not for the bigger entities, like if your turnover is a few $100 million, or even for very large listed companies, I don't think PSG would be applicable. But since we are talking about PSG, you would know or you have read that this has been expanded. The one that has actually been included would be what we are doing now, and that is if you are in that space of providing IT solutions for telecommunicating, video conferencing, you are now in the PSG. So anybody who wants to buy a product, who wants to onboard your IT solutions in respect of telecommunicating, that would fall into the pre-approved solutions. Okay.
How it helped the small startup digital market company? Maybe you want to expand on that question, Vikas? What did you mean about, what were you referring to when you said how it helped? Is that the PSG?
Sorry, but I'll just go back to the Vikas one, because if you can be a bit more clear about your question, but just on the keywords, startup digital market company, I think there is a lot. If you are in the business, if you are providing digital marketing for startups, I believe that you will fall into the PSG, and therefore whoever wants to get your solutions would actually be able to enjoy the grants. PSG. Sorry, completely clueless here. What are the list of grants available for SME to write? This COVID-19 situations is obviously been hard for small and Let me, I think the panel would like to take this on. We'll either go around or whoever has got comments. For Sarah, Da, I'm sorry, I'm just looking at your name, but can I read out the question? Completely clueless here. What are the list of grants available for SMEs to ride this COVID-19 situation? It's obviously been very hard for small and new businesses. There are many. Again, if you take it offline, you write to us. We got some snapshots. Maybe not even just our own copyright. Actually, is quite available, quite widely available. But we'll share some of these. What are the list of grants? So what are some of the grants that are available? The low-lying fruits one, huh? Maybe.
Yeah, in fact, I think there's a SME working capital grant that enables provides not a grant, but basically SME working capital loan that you can take from the participating financial institutions, whereby the government would actually co-share a high proportion of the risk, and that basically eases your cash flow and provides you working capital to tide over this period.
I think one of the bigger ones that many people are quite happy and excited about businesses wise would be the co-funding of wages, and it was announced only last Thursday by DPM Heng, where they say that across the board, all businesses, the Singapore government will co-fund wages for 9 months, up to $4,600 of individual employees' wages. And the co-funding is 25% across the board, all businesses. But higher co-funding for 2 other sectors. One of them is the F&B sector, and that's 50%. And for the aviation sector, it's 75%. So that is really, really welcome news for nearly all businesses who employs local workers.
So to answer the question about the available grants, I mean, that was a very important grant, the job support scheme. And the job support scheme really helps businesses lower their costs and provides cash to the workers and protects their livelihoods. But besides that, we also have the COVID-19 support grant, and we have the wage credit scheme as well. So the COVID-19 support grant essentially gives cash grant of $800 per month for 3 months for low and middle income Singaporeans who lost their jobs due to COVID as well. And for wage credit is an additional payout which will be given from June 2020 onwards. So we've got so many other grants that are available. The SG United jobs that will be created, the SG United traineeships that will come on board, which will help create 8,000, I think. This will help new startups engage trainees if they wish to do so. Is to help new joiners in the market get employment given the current situation. We also have the skills future credit that's being given to employers.
Yes.
So in this time, we should take advantage of the opportunities to learn and grow as well, and to enhance our skill sets.
Clara, your question is very similar to what we are discussing now. If we have not addressed it sufficiently, do let us know. But yeah, but that's right. So Clara, again, I would have to guess that you are in the tech sector, and that has not been sort of carved out. Again, like I said, across the board, the co-funding of wages is actually 25%. So obviously that applies to you as well. But the enhanced one on the higher co-funding applies only to 2 other sectors for now, and that is the F&B sector and the aviation sector.
Yeah. I think there is another question which or that's the one they
Yeah,
presented.
yeah.
So actually, the way to think about this is that I use the acronym HARM. Those are the ones that are given help immediately: hotels, aviation, and retail. H, A, and R, and Marina Bay Sands as well. So they are given 100%, and for Marina Bay Sands 60%. So that's the benefit that you have. From what date would the government cover salaries? Job support scheme. Job support scheme. So for the enhanced job support scheme, initially the criteria was $3,600, the monthly qualifying wage ceiling. That has now been enhanced to $4,600. Paul shared that earlier. What has changed really is that it was available for 1 quarter. Now it will be available for 3 quarters.
9 months.
3 quarters, and it will be paid in 3 tranches. The 3 tranches are May, July, and October. And the total amount that will be given out to support 1.9 million people will be about $15.1 billion. And that's a very large part of the budget.
Yeah. Vidya, that's actually to address your question, Vidya. Are you okay with that? Basically, the 3 payout dates are as soon as May next month, July, and October.
So 3 different quarters.
Yeah. All kinds of
Yeah, local workers.
it's all companies.
Yeah. So I think Clara, you got a question. Would the 25% grant under job support scheme include all companies? The answer is yes. But the 25% is given for local workers.
Yes.
And then for food services sector is 50%. For aviation and tourism is 75%.
Local employees refers to Singaporeans as well as Singapore PR.
Yes. So Clara Wong, in all probabilities, you would be falling into this category, and therefore up to 4,600 of your wages will be covered, 25% will be covered by the Singapore government. Would it be available for foreign? Yes. The focus is on local workers. What is Sarada?
Is it Sarada? Sarada, is it? Is that correct? Yeah, correct.
I think it's Sarah. I'm just
It's Sarah, is it? Oh, okay. Sarah, to answer your question, it is available to local workers. So if you are foreign-owned business but you have local workers, then the benefit will be given.
The focus is on local
And
workers.
they actually looked at your CPF contribution. So the government actually knows who are the local workers in your company. So it's not based on who the shareholders are.
I mean, on 25th March, when this team presented, the grant was 8%. Now it's 25%. That's quite a significant change in the last 1 week. I understand that not all grants are available to companies unless they have 30% shareholdings. Hence my question. That's from Clara, right?
Clara, again, insofar as we know, the JSS one applies to all businesses applicable to local workers. If you're talking about other types of grants, like the PSG grants and subsidies and all that, that has a different, that has always been a situation where it wants to, those grants are meant to benefit companies with at least 30% share ownership. Okay, so that's a bit different.
Clara, maybe to answer your question, I mean, there are other benefits that are being given, but they may not be given to all companies. So you're correct to say that. For example, the property tax rebates are actually given to a certain sector. which are hotels, airport, retail, and Marina Bay Sands. So the property tax rebate is 100% for hotels, airport, and retail. So that's only to a select group of companies. I would like to share this with you. I mean, while the team is talking, if you are a hotel and you have laundry, you provide laundry services to the hotel. So the laundry company will not be having the property tax rebate, but what is being encouraged by the minister is that what DPM suggested is that the benefits given to hotels, aviation industry, and retail should also be shared with other service providers. For example, the laundry service to a hotel. So that's one way of ensuring that anyone affected by the COVID issue is also having certain help given because of the site. Not everyone qualifies as a hotel or airport or retail.
I think Clara has another question that she's typing. That is the last question. What is all the links here? Okay, here.
I think Clara is asking now, what's the difference between workfare special payment and jobs support scheme? Clara, I can only share with you that workfare applies to the lower wage workers. Okay? I don't have in my fingertips what is the threshold for that will apply for workfare, but we are talking about, say, $1,000. If I only earn $1,000, then I will be eligible for workfare. That's the one that you're talking about. So that's one of the main difference. Workfare is our Singapore unique term of saying welfare, but you must work, then we will supplement it with workfare.
So the job support scheme comes above that. It's a separate opportunity, and it's really to reduce costs for businesses by giving a grant to employees. So to help employees stay employed, and that 25% for all local workers is a targeted to all companies, or is given to all companies, but targeted to local workers.
We haven't got any new questions. So if an employee's monthly wage is 0,000,
That's more than that.
why did the government increase to 3,000 cash? Clara, why did the government increase to 3,000? Why is it? Okay. Now we have to go and ask the government.
Clara, is that for when you said that the increase to 3,000? Is that for you specifically referring to the workfare grant?
Hi everybody. Yeah, I just thought of now, so just respond here. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Huh? Okay, so based on what I've seen on Straits Times, I see that the workfare special payment for low income workers will be increased to 3,000 in cash. So I don't really understand this because they said previously it was only up to $800 minimum, and it's a one-off payment. So now that if a lower income worker, say for example, you mentioned the threshold being $1,000 and below, it doesn't make sense that the government would increase it to triple the pay. on a monthly basis?
No, but not monthly. I do not think that $1,000 is a monthly thing. I don't know.
So I think the way it works is that 1,000 and the 3,000 is the threshold for you to qualify for workfare special payment. So they increase the threshold so that more people can qualify for this workfare special payment. I mean that's basically how I mean off the top of my head I understand that that's supposed to be. I hope I answered your question.
I guess I'll probably read up more, and then I will, yeah, I'll probably read up more about it on myself on my end too.
Alright, Clever, you can reach out to us if you want to after that. But you can tell us the reference to you very helpful. We can talk it up with you.
Any participants here who are SE, the self-employed personnel, there are, maybe you would like to ask any questions, we might be able to help. Again, we don't have all the answers, but we can share some of our comments.
So this COVID-19 is a very unusual situation. Is why? Because it has impacts on both the supply and demand side. It's unlike global financial crisis, right? So I think the focus here has been really about putting cash in the hands of the worker to ensure that they are able to protect their livelihood. So that was probably your reference to that $3,000 cash that you're referring to.
JL, you have asked if someone earns more than $12,000 per month under the enhanced job support scheme, will this person still get support for 25%? First and foremost, the answer is yes, but I don't think it's fair to support this person. But no, I'm sorry, but the answer is yes. Up to 4,600.
So there's a wage ceiling. The wage ceiling is $4,600.
Yeah, provided this employee is a local.
Yeah. So the answer is yes.
The answer is yes.
You must qualify as a you qualify your local worker, Singaporean and Singapore PR.
The 25%
and the wage ceiling is up to $4,600.
Correct.
It used to be $3,600 before.
Yeah. So the in excess of the 4,600, this person I would assume is you. There's no 25% co-funding by the Singapore government. What is 125 times 4,600? That's the maximum.
5%
Yeah, what you know, whatever that is, that's the maximum. So this person
it's 1,000 for 9 months. Yeah. So there's Clever, you have asked another question, and you have clearly stated you are not that I'm a self-employed, but it's a good question because it will help others. So if you are self-employed, you will be given $1,000 for 9 months, but the criteria is now clear. And the criteria, for example, I'll give you one example which rules out most people. If your spouse and you earn more than $75,000, then you're ruled out. And there are a few other criteria there. So, property value must be less than 13,000, and then you mustn't own more than 1 or 2 properties. Yeah. And you and your spouse must not own more than 2 properties as well. That's another criteria there.
Gregory, we have also more or less answered your question. You're asking what the conditions for self-employed persons. So these are the few criteria that we have.
And you must be self-employed before 25th of March. So it's really to help freelancers because they are taxi drivers, they are private car own property agents. Those are all considered self-employed, and it's really to put money into their hands so they can continue to live through this this time of this moment of crisis.
Sarah, your question is also a bit related to what Sajid has just mentioned. So what's the definition of a self-employed person? Know if you are the owner of a company and you are an EB, employment pass, right? Or from the company. So if you're an employment pass, then you're an employee, you're not a self-employed person.
That you apply for Singaporeans and PR.
Yeah.
How do we apply for the grants?
Elaine, if you'd like to know a little bit more specifically what grants we can ask, we can share if for those that we know whether there's an application or some are actually given. Yeah, some are automatically given. Okay.
We can send you a very the Minister of Social and Family Division actually posted on his LinkedIn. So if you just go to his LinkedIn, there's a really good one-pager. Is a how-to guide that tells you how to apply for a grant if necessary, or it will be given automatically to you. So for self-employed, I think it's included in that one page as well.
So for Soraya, you might not like what my answer would be. Do reach out to us. If we understand your nature of business, what sector you are in, what we might be able to help you a bit better, more specifically, what type of help, what type of grants might be applicable to you, rather than what are the most common type of grants in that sense, you know? I mean, like, and grants in itself has got a very wide meaning, or it means to one different from another. So like subsidy, some say that is also a grant, a real cash payout, that's a grant. So like, for example, the easing of the SME working capital, is that a grant? Well, some people say yes, some people say no. So I'm so sorry, but Soraya, if you would like to reach out to us specifically over email, we'll be able to help you better.
So to answer the earlier question about self-employed, do you need to apply? The answer is no need to apply. Automatic payout for eligible self-employed. They must be age 37 and above in 2020 who declared positive self-employed income to Inland Revenue for work year 2018. So we will look into appeals for those who miss the criteria. So if you miss the criteria,
so if I were to summarize what Sajid has said, if in the year 2019, YA 2019, you are already a self-employed because you were self-employed in 2018. IRAS knows that you are already a self-employed, then you automatically will fall into this category where you don't have to do anything, you get your self-employed grant. Okay? And if it's you are only a self-employed last year, 2019, you have not filed your tax, right? So IRAS and the government authorities might not know that you're self-employed yet. Then there's an application process.
So one of the eligibility criteria is that you must have no employee income in 2018, and your net trade income must be less than $100,000. Live in a property with annual value of less than 30,000, and do not own 2 or more properties. And if you're married, you and your spouse do not own 2 or more properties as well. And the assessable income must be less than 70,000. So those are the criteria.
Any other questions that we have not addressed? Can I help to answer?
Yes, there is. I think there is a COVID-19 grant that I think pays 800.
800, yeah. So, is it Clara again? Clara, to answer your question, are there any grants available for employees who got laid off during this COVID period? The answer is yes. Cash grant. So it's a cash grant of $800 per month for 3 months for low and middle income Singaporeans who lost their job due to COVID-19. So there may be a criteria on this definition of low and middle income as well. InCorp is auditing firm of, oh, okay. Nice to know that, Zinda. So InCorp is auditing firm of my company for more than 1 decade. Okay. Can we write to the auditor in charge? He understands our company very well so that he can recommend which grant scheme is suitable to our company and how to apply. Hope most of them are automatic.
Chinta, I also hope for you that most of them are automatic.
Yeah, I think sure. You can see that the way this budget has been crafted is to make things as simple as it can get, but there may be grants that you may have to go and seek out and or appeal to. So that's what it is. But the details are now starting to appear. So there was a lot of detail yesterday in the post as well.
Can I take this opportunity to see a little bit more? I know this session so far has been concentrating on JSS, on government grants, but I think as a company, I think what is most important is at this point in time, what can you do from the company's perspective and not just tap on government grants and schemes, because that is quite limited and that is not that may not be the only solution. I think what is important for businessmen like you or leaders like you is to really assess what is really your company position now, your financial position now, and really to ascertain whether is your business really viable. I think what the government is trying to help is really to establish viable business and to help them stabilize and bring them over to the bring them over this COVID-19 situation. So I think what is really important and critical right now is really take charge of your own numbers, take charge of what directions you want to take charge of what are the actions you want to take for your company, and not just rely on government. I think government launched quite a number, and I think we really appreciate it.
Yes.
Some of them really is auto-inclusive, really good, but some of them is really depending on your shareholdings. It is not like we can, at this forum, tell you 1 to 10, yes, you must be local shareholdings, and then 11 to 20, is auto-inclusive. I think we need to work with you to know your numbers, to know your business models, to know your cost drivers, so that we can really help you to get you through this, and we can hands-hold you. We also need to know, are you trading in insolvent trading, which currently, if we look at it, many businesses are going downhill. You could be caught in this situation. We have Kelvin here who can help you guys if you are in this situation. Yeah, I think this is what I wanted to, and it's really important for me to tell you.
Yeah. So thank you very much, Doris. If I could supplement a little bit on what Doris mentioned. We have got Kelvin, who is the corporate restructuring and insolvency expert here, right? Kelvin can, yes. Okay, but what I want to say is that it will be really worth your while to assess, let us help you assess what position you are in now, what status you are in now. There may be, for some who, after being assessed and told and buy in or are convinced that, hey, it might be better for me to actually significantly reduce, suspend, or even to that last resort, cease my business now, so that I don't continue to incur more losses where I know it might not be sustainable. Whether or not COVID-19 clears up in 3 months, 3 years, and I don't know what the time frame is. So it might be better if for these people, Kelvin would be able to help to say, hey, let all this clear up. I have whatever reserve I have, I keep it, and then come and fight the battle again when the sky is clear, when COVID-19 is no longer haunting us. So that is what we are trying to say as well. I hope you got that.
It's a very interesting question.
Yes.
If from JL, if employees voluntarily enter into a salary reduction arrangement with the employer and their salary is $4,600 per month per individual, for example, then under the enhanced job support scheme, the employees, the government will support only 25% of the reduced salary. So first criteria is that he must be a local worker. So 25% is given for local workers. And higher amounts are given for certain sectors like hotels and aviation. Now, having said that, what is key down here is kept at $4,600. So you don't need to reduce.
I think to answer your question is, again, I think if we could put this offline, I think we need to confirm, but my understanding is the authority is going to look at your CPF contribution for the months from October to December 2019, and based on that will be the first crunch of your payment. So at that point in time, if your employee is more than 4,600, probably they will pay you 25% of 4,600.
Yes.
But subsequently, as you reduce and the CPF contribution is lesser, then you will get lesser. But having said that, I don't know whether the government eventually, if they came to know about it, will query about it. Yeah. But the way it goes is the first crunch is actually based on your October to December 2019 salary contribution.
Again, just to clarify for JL, there's no necessity to do that actually. Okay. Remember, the cap is actually capped at 4,600. It's not. If you earn more than 4,600, you will not be entitled to this grant on this co-funding, we call it. Okay, the proper one is co-funding of wages by the Singapore government. So if you earn 5,000, you will still be entitled, but only up to 4,600. The $400 will have no co-funding. I hope you understand that clearly.
So okay, that's very, very critical because I think salary reduction arrangements, I think first of all you've got to be conscious, is that the right thing to do socially and responsibly? But the key word here is kept to $4,600. So to simplify things, if your employee earns more than $4,600, you will get $1,150 as a grant. That's what it is.
That's the maximum.
For each employee.
For each employee.
Local employee.
Yes.
1,150, that's the magic number.
Yeah, any new questions? Yes, JL, just to answer your question, we agree that to save job, a salary reduction arrangement could be a viable option. If you really assess that to be so, I agree. Yeah. Okay. Say it again.
The period.
For Clara, I think the 3 tranches which Sajid mentioned would be as soon as next month, May, July, and then October. Is that clear, Clara?
May, July, October. They're actually quarter 2, 3, and 4.
Three tranches for 9 months.
Okay, good. Clara says, got it.
So hang in there, okay, Clara?
That amount is actually a very large amount. It's
Very large.
15.1 billion.
Yeah.
Clara.
The budget is 15.1. Really is a lot.
So this is the first time I think so it's the total deficit now. Initial when the Singapore Unity budget was announced, the deficit was $10 billion. The second resilience budget was announced, the deficit now is $39 billion. So you add up the two, you get $50 billion deficit being planned for this year. Never in global financial crisis, it was not more than $1 billion.
Shirley asked, is there a reduction in employers' CPF rate during this period? If I answer yes, it will be an April Fool's joke. Sorry, so just to answer you, not that I know of. Yes, not that I know of. No.
No, there isn't. The answer is there isn't, because the whole situation is such that it's a fiscal stimulus. So fiscal stimulus is putting money in the hands of the workers and employers, to reduce costs for employers. So that's the purpose of it. This question keeps coming up. How about the enhanced work-life grant? What's work-life grant?
Yong Suk Ling, firstly, I'm not very sure, but I know about the work-life grant. I'm not sure about the enhanced work-life grant, but that was an old scheme or grant where the original scheme is, insofar as I know, and I've tapped onto that scheme as well, is where you get a consultant to come in to redesign your work for your employees. The other one, low-lying fruit one, is also easy, where we buy laptops or portable computers so that you allow your employees to work from anywhere, from home, etc. Those are the work-life grant. But if there's an enhancement, or this is part of also the more recent resilience package, I have not read about it, or I do not know about it.
There's an existing grant, actually.
Yeah.
So it's from the Ministry of Manpower.
That's right.
To encourage flexi load, flexi place, and flexi time. I think most of us are now working from the home. COVID-19 has been the leading digital transformation for most of us. But coming back to the work-life grant, the amount is stated as $70,000 per company over 2 years, and is $2,000 per local employee per year who is a regular user of the FWA.
Is there any commercial property grants?
Property tax rebate.
Property tax rebate.
No, different rates. So I can share that with you. There's an enhanced property tax rate. I'll just give you the numbers because there are different levels for different types of companies. So the property tax rebates, to answer that question, the property tax rebates are given for non-residential 30%, for hotels, airport, retail, and marina bay sands. The way to remember this is the acronym HARM. HARM. Hotels, airport, retail, and marina bay sands and RWS. So 100% is given for hotels, airport, and retail, and for marina bay sands, 60%. So then the question comes about, if you don't, if you're not one of those, if you're not a hotel, but you provide services to the hotel, and because now you are unable to provide services to the hotel, talk to the hotel and see whether you can get any benefit, co-share benefit. That's being encouraged. That's what the Singapore Business Federation also encourage people to do, to share the benefits with others who are impacted, who may not be hotels or airports or retail.
So Srini, I think just to answer your question, is there any commercial property grants available? The answer is 30%, right? 30% corporate tax.
Within the
Yeah. So it's 30%.
30%.
Property tax rebate.
Yeah.
If you are Srini, if you are the landlord, please remember to give that to your
I think
tenants.
this is what the government is encouraging.
Share with them.
Thanks.
Okay, you got it.
Shirley asked, could employees allow to withdraw from CPF? CPF and not EPF, right, Shirley, you're talking about, right?
Yes.
So without penalties now before allowable age, if the intention is provide for hardship, again, the simple answer is no.
No such discussion.
No. You go across the causeway, if you can go across causeway, that is now allowed, actually.
So the answer is no, but in all seriousness, I think we must recognize the CPF as a purpose, and the purpose is retirement. So it's really to help much longer term when the employee retires. You need to ensure that the CPF is adequate.
Anyway, right now there's no such
No.
discussion.
Yeah, look, this is not be discussed in either budget, unity or resilience. Oh,
We have about
10 minutes.
10 minutes left. If you have any other questions that you wish to ask, or any points that you wish to clarify, we'll be happy to share our comments. Okay, we have one.
What about tenants who are affected by this situation where there is no supply of goods from abroad and there are no customers coming in? How do they address the landlord on exiting from the contract which cannot be fulfilled? So, yeah, I think there is limited help for tenants in terms of rental waivers of those properties owned by the government related enterprises. So just to jump in on Benji, on what Benji was sharing, the rental waiver is from 1 to 3 months, but that is meant for storeholders in hawker centers managed by NEA or NEA appointed operators.
JL's question. I think it's the one that you were saying May, July, and October, right?
So I think is it
JL, okay. Suja,
right? Suja, I think you have to really look at your contract. What are the exit clauses included? Whether the landlord is having the benefits we talked about earlier. Because if the landlord is having those benefits, 30% property tax rebate, you should have a discussion.
Yeah.
Because it is in the interest of the landlord and you that you continue, right?
Yes.
So if the landlord wishes you to continue and,
I would say if you're looking at pre-termination of the contract, I don't think the government has provided anything. But I think if you're looking at some certain rebates because you're a tenant of a certain property, that I think you can address it with the landlord. I think government is also encouraging landlords to provide to pass down these benefits.
Okay, maybe just to add, because of the COVID-19 issue, I think the government is looking to pass a regulation. If I recall correctly, it's early next week. I mean, for those contracts that are affected by COVID-19 and you can't fulfill, they are coming up with new regulation to allow for, I would say, like, for example, booking of a hotel room, ballroom for wedding. And because of this COVID issue, you can't have a wedding buffet, banquet, etc. They're asking for maybe like a full refund of deposit. This is something that I just saw before, I think early this morning. So they are discussing the legislation next week. I think more details will come out, I think, shortly.
So I think probably, hang on, probably there may be more
There
coming
might be
out.
more coming out, we never know, yeah. But some contracts cannot be fulfilled because of COVID-19, yeah.
Here is a question: when will employers receive the funding money for the thing? Yeah, so we've mentioned it earlier. The 3 months are May, July, and October. So it's actually over a period of time. quarter 2, 3, and 4.
30%,
Non-government.
rebate. Yeah, 30%
Rental,
rebate.
rental.
No, rental waivers.
Rental, this is rental, no. Rental is not, rental is only for Pacific for.
So JL, we are discussing that if you are talking about tenancy or rental waivers for non-government buildings, you will have to talk to your landlord. The answer is no, you have to talk to your landlord and see what type of reduction or waivers you can get from the landlord. And what Sajid was alluding to just now was also saying that it is also in the interest of landlords to try and keep the tenants, because once they lose their tenant, there are very, very low chance in getting another replacement tenant, especially at the same rental rate. If not, even if you reduce the rental rate, there will be there are not much chances of getting tenants now.
Yeah. So Jeff, to strengthen your case, I think you can always use the government, because the government, if you are eligible tenant of a government agency, for example, your eligible rental waiver is half a month to 2 months. That's sort of guides you. So go and negotiate with the non-government ones as well. On that basis, half month to 2 months. If the government agencies are prepared to do that, then I think you've got a good case to take it forward with the non-government agencies as well. Do you want, does anyone, we have altogether 3 more minutes, and we want to make sure that we end the meeting on time, just as we started on time.
So remember, as I said, Forex is something really you should consider. Really don't just rely on government. The business is yours. Like any individuals, you're responsible for yourself. So at the same time, really understand your own financials and make a wise decision towards it. Yeah.
Co-funding is more than welcome. We all love grants, but I think more importantly, what we want to emphasize is that know your position, where you stand, what measures you should take. If you'd like us to help you, come and approach us, come and reach out to us. We'll be more than happy to help.
Okay, if there are no further questions, we'd like to just say a big thank you to all of you for participating in this call. If you found this useful, helpful, please just send us a note and say how you feel about it. We'll like to hear from you. And that will also encourage us or inspire us to do more of this in future. So rounding up, if you can go back to the screen share, we would just like to say to you, the team that was talking to you, the team that was before you earlier. If you can go back to the earlier one, yeah, this one. Can you go? Yeah, again. Okay, this one. No, just 1 second on this one. Come back to us because we have all the different services that are available. So signing off, Doris, Ben, Kelvin, and Paul, and myself. We wanted to just have a chat with all of you about the Singapore Resilience Budget and what it means and why it matters in the context of cost, in terms of cash as well as credit. I would like to ask Paul to just share a little bit about what we do in our daily lives. So Paul, maybe you can.
We would like to think that our group of companies, our InCorp group of companies, is our service offerings is very comprehensive. And so if you are looking at the screen, and I hope you are, then these are our sort of service portfolio. And if I were to rattle off and read from there, you can see that we are into incorporations. You set up any type of business, whether it's a private limited company, a public limited company, etc., or associations, we can help you in this area. Secretarial and compliance services, where it's an annual service, and all companies would need this type of services. We also do share registry. This is applicable mainly for listed companies, and therefore, just to again add, we also service the listed company sector. we have a lot of outsourcing services as well. The outsourcing services would also would include bookkeeping, taxation, and many of the other recurring annual compliance services. Taxation, we have got Ben here, as you have mentioned, and Ben has was very involved in the first as well as this session. He's the head of tax, and we do a very comprehensive tax services, not just the usual compliance, but we also do advisory, and we're quite strong in that area as well, and including cross-border advisory. Immigrations, and if you are interested in getting employment passes, that type of stuff, we also do the immigration. And you might wish to know that we are one of the largest player in terms of transactions in Singapore, if not the largest. Business advisory, all of us are in this area, both Sajid, Doris, as well as me and Dan and Kelvin. We are all into business advisory. And business advisory, I would like to highlight that this is also a pretty good time for M&A, as in you are intending to divest, or maybe you are in a very good position where you have got a cash reserve to even acquire, and this is a good time to acquire as well.
You have really a good business.
Yes.
You just want people to come in at this point.
That's right. That's covered under business advisory, and the head of risk assurance is actually Sajid, who heads up our risk assurance, and Sajid will say a few words.
Yep. Risk assurance, we provide internal audit, we provide sustainability reporting, as well as enterprise risk management services. So if you're looking for competitive prices, come to us, talk to us. We'll help you reduce costs as well, because we strategize for you a plan. And lastly, corporate recovery.
Yeah, last but not least, we've got the corporate recovery as well as insolvency, and that's headed by Kelvin.
I think for me, don't look at corporate recovery as the last leg of your business life or whatever, but sometimes we do help, and we have managed to help a lot of companies to resuscitate, restructure, or maybe a soft landing. I think that part is very important. Soft landing will, in other words, will actually cushion the impact to the business owner. I think that part we are actually quite and have successfully helped quite a fair bit of companies as well. Yeah.
Okay, last slide. If you have any further questions, yes, the email, connect with Doris. Doris has kindly decided to help us taking your questions. Thank you so much for joining all of us. Yes. From all of us at InCorp, this is Team InCorp signing off. Bye-bye. Be safe.
Bye-bye.
Stay resilient.